Okay, so next we move on to the cash payments book. So the cash or check payments book is the expenditure side of our bank account. So it's looking at payments that we made during the course of the month. So we have two sources of information for these payments. So in our source documents, we will see remittance advice. And remittance advice are kind of just a, by the way, here's money that I'm sending to you in respect of this invoice. And it's just to help our suppliers or people that we've paid to identify the source of the funds and what payment it relates to or what invoice it relates to. So you can see here that Castle Bookstore sent money to Eason's on the 13th of August. They sent him €2,000 and it's in respect of invoice 4501, which we had gotten in at the start of the month. Um, so we've one, two, three remittance advices. So we paid Eason's, we paid the ESB, and we paid Sony, okay, during the course of the month. So those three items will go into our check or cash payments book. We also know that at the start of the question, we were told of other payments that we had made during the course of the month. And these three items here will also need to hit our check payments book. So we had a direct debit payment of rent. We issued a check at the last day of the month to restore the petty cash imprest, and we'll deal with that in the petty cash book. And we had a direct debit payment of salaries for Mary O'Rourke and Richard Castle. So both of those will also need to go into our check payments book. Now, this book we can't fully total off. I'm going to um, highlight this line for a second. Um, we can't fully close off this book until we have done um, the petty cash book because we need to know how much we spent. So, spoiler alert, we spend €186 during the course of the month. But until we know that, we can't total off this book. So we're going to enter the information that we do know about. So we know about the rent on the 2nd of August. So we're putting in that rent there of €1,200. We also know about two payments of salary, so Mary O'Rourke and Richard Castle down here. Okay, and then we're just taking the rest of our information from our remittance advice. So look at these two here. So we have a payment of €25,000 to Sony on the 28th of August. So we're just popping that in. Excuse me. On the 28th of August, we paid Sony e-readers 25,000 and they are a creditor. So creditor are people that we owe money to. So we've put in as much information as we can. We put it all in and we just don't total it for the moment. So we pretend that line's not there. And we're just going to leave the total blank for the minute. Now, while I'm here, I'll look at the petty cash book. So sorry, just I'll update this to 2025 just to keep things neat and ticking over. Some things just don't work out. What do you see? Now, so during the course of the month, we had a number of transactions go through our petty cash book. But the first thing that we have to deal with is obviously the money that comes into our petty cash. So our petty cash is our little red box that sits in the corner that we use for kind of little ad hoc purchases, like going off to buy tea and biscuits, that kind of stuff. So we started off at the start of the month, we put €200 in cash into it. And we're told that because we were told that on the first day of the month, they started off with a capital of 80,000 in their lodged into their um, business, And of this, 79,800 was put into the current account, which we already dealt with in the cash receipts book, and the 200 went into the petty cash. So now we're just popping in the 200 that came into the petty cash. So on the 1st of August, we started off with opening capital of €200. So then during the course of the month, we had five purchases. So we have our petty cash vouchers here. So there's four, five. Okay. So we're just taking the information from our petty cash. Now there can be VAT on petty cash purchases that we would need to deal with, and we see that there in voucher 2 and 3. So we'll look at those. You can break down your petty cash account into further analysis. So you see here we have post, we have sundries, we have maintenance, we've canteen. I would say be careful in how granular you go with your analysis, because each of those will be opened as an account in our ledgers when we come on to dealing with our ledgers. So just um, don't go too low in detail, but you don't just want to dump it all in and say it was all petty cash. You do want to have some analysis. So you see there, our first one was on the 10th of August. Voucher number one was for postage stamps, €55, and we've broken it down that the analysis is post. So the next one then was the 18th of August. We had voucher number two. It was for alarm repair. It was for a total of €15. It was 13.22 in sundry and 178 in VAT. Okay, so we just pop in all of our voucher details from our petty cash vouchers. We total them up, and we see that the total spend during the course of the month was €186.13. So we're going to write a check from our bank account to our petty cash, or withdraw 200 or withdraw €186.13 from the bank and put it into our little red box. Whatever way we do it, we're going to make sure that there's €200 back in the little petty cash box at the end of the month. So €186.13 goes in. We've spent 186.13. So our balance that we're carrying forward to the start of the next month is €200. So we go back to our check payments book, and now we can pop in our 186.13 into this account, because we know now how much we've spent. So just be very careful with your petty cash. You start off at the start of the month with €200. You make a couple of purchases during the month. Sometimes people get it into their head that the amount they need to restore is the amount, the difference, the €13 or whatever it is, 13.87, that's now left in the box. No, you need to actually restore what you've spent, because you started with 200, you spent 186, you need to put back in 186 to bring it back up to the whole amount. Okay, so those are our 5 day books. So our sales day book, our cash receipts book, our purchases day book, our check payments book, and our petty cash book. Okay, so those are the 5 that we need to look after.